So search for the slide projector. Hi everybody. Alright, not too bad. Not too bad. Getting a little bit better. It's a super tiny bit better. Alright, so the airplane in question has been brought in from a private airfield located in the town of Blank, Cincinnati. It is suspected to be connected to the blank AWE. See case file blank for details. And is being evaluated for altered status. The plane is currently being stored in the transit corridor in the containment sector, brought there through the New York subway tunnel, special access blank. For more information on tunnel blank and links to urban legends centered on ghost stations, abandoned tracks, and blank, see file 412 4521. The plane's black box is currently being evaluated for blank blank, and initial readings have been taken by a research team, though no altered status has yet been detected. Refer to file 9128371 for full report. So there's nothing there. That's where I came from. So, ordinary AWE, stage 1.A, dump. Witness testimonies. The first slide was a room with dirty wallpaper and dolls on a shelf. There were lots of dolls. The house was empty. No one lived there. We played in there a lot. It was our secret playhouse. I went to school with Neil. Some kids called him Nosebleed Neil. No, likely Neil Hossenberg, missing. It was mean. He had asthma. Tom, note, likely Tom Barlow, missing. And his gang, Freddie, note, likely Frederick Bartwell, missing. Hugo, note, no one by this name was found in public records, bullied him. We brought Neil to the dump to play. Alright, unconfirmed existence of additional slide. Designation, house. So ordinary AWE.
You're listening to America Overnight, celebrating 29 years shining a light in the shadows. Thank you for staying with us. Here's our first caller.
What I'm about to tell you, if they found out, I don't know what would happen.
If who found out, brother?
The men in the suits. They told me it was an industrial accident, but this is something else. Something nobody talks about. Ordinary.
This certainly doesn't sound very ordinary, caller.
No, not ordinary. Ordinary. It's a town. And it wasn't an industrial accident. I mean, that's what they said. But that's bullshit.
Whoa, please watch the language, caller. Maybe 2 a.m., but we're still a family show.
I'm sorry. It's just, my brother lived there. They said the town was destroyed, but It wasn't. I went there. The people are gone, but the town's there. It's still there.
So the population of an entire town disappears, yet the town remains. Tell me, was the phrase, "there is no salvation," written anywhere?
I'm not sure.
The same thing happened in Brazil in 23, a village called Fort Verde. More than 600 people just up and left. The government said they were fleeing guerrilla forces, but we know the truth. A mass abduction, as predicted by my regular guest, Dr. Quincy Raymond.
Abduction? You mean aliens? That's bullshit! I know they're lying!
Now I warned you about the language caller. I'm afraid we're gonna have to cut you off. And good timing too. It's time for a short break. Hang in there. America Overnight will be right back.
So I believe in something happening. Aliens, though, no. Anything but aliens. That's funny, though. Ordinary. Doesn't sound ordinary. Alright, the AWE occurred in the town of Ordinary, caused by an object of power. Slide projector ID OOP-15, discovered by local children at the dump outside of town. When a specific set of slides were used in the projector, the projected items open doorways to other dimensions. Multiple slides were used by the children, resulting in the disappearance of the town's adult population. On August 30th, 2002, siblings Dylan Faden, 10 years old, CP6 materials, and Jesse Faden, 11 years old, CP7 materials, were playing at the local dump when they found a discarded slide projector. See OOP-15 case file in Darling Presentations blank for details. A team led by Director Trench and Dr. Darling arrived at the site on September 14th. The AWE had ended, but the team found the Faden children, who led them to the slide projector and the slides, which had been burned with the exception of one. Jesse escaped when agents attempted to detain the pair. In total, 17 surviving individuals were found in the town. All of them were brought in for questioning and tests. See interviews blank and crime candidate program files blank. Okay.
There is a curious correlation with...
I don't know, I like watching these videos. So altered world events.
There is a curious correlation with the yet unknowable forces intruding upon our world, in the form of altered world events. These forces gravitate toward archetypal objects, a gun, a television, a supposedly haunted house. So clearly humanity affects this process. Our collective unconscious is a map of sorts. We hold the key, but we don't know how to use it. We create these archetypes through everyday life, popular culture, urban legends, but we are observing and influencing a complicated system in action. We can change the likelihood of something being a receptacle for these forces just by thinking about it. But we haven't found a method to control the outcome. And yet, there's something unique in us, in our dreams, in the conceptual reality with power, with our minds. What's the cause and what's the effect? Are we the starting point or just a necessary evil in this? A byproduct, a reflection, a projection? We'll struggle to find the answers to these hard questions, or die trying.
But yeah, he's the voice actor, and I guess they used a different like face model for Alan Wake, so that's why I was like, sounds like him but doesn't look like him, so can't be him, right? But it is. Alright, after what happened at school to Mrs. Chester, we started spying on Tom and saw where they took the projector. Tom and his troglodytes were using the Sled Hill Cave as their headquarters. That's where the projector was. They'd been using the temple slide. We called it that, but really it was a broken concrete thing, like a warehouse or a bomb shelter or something. Very dark. The not mother lived there with her. Babies, children, I don't know. She was feeding Tom and the others her milk. They were changing into little monsters. We called them dung monkeys. Unconfirmed existence of additional slide, designation temple. Unconfirmed existence of paranatural entity, designation not mother. EID 19,928. Safe spot, too.
Annual evaluation of Dylan Faden, formerly P6, performed by Dr. Carla Vaughn. The questions asked here correspond to the 5th iteration of the Gunner's psychological assessment. Are you ready, Dylan? Let's begin then. In a single word, describe the world around you.
Where's Casper?
Dr. Darling is out of the building today.
He's never out. He never visits, not since Roberts. See, tell Darling it wasn't my fault. I couldn't control it yet, but I can now. I learned. Will you tell him?
In a single word, describe the world around you.
A prison. A cold, empty prison. Not even a poster on the wall.
What is the next number in the sequence 3, 6, 9, 12, 15?
18.
What day is it today?
How the hell would I know? It's not like you give me a calendar.
You found a rabbit in the woods. It is breathing, but not moving. You cannot see any blood. What do you do?
Leave it.
Expand on that.
It doesn't matter. The rabbit's not real. None of it's real.
What day is it today?
Do you enjoy asking people questions that can't be answered? Is this what gets you up in the morning? What you dreamed of doing as a scared, stupid little girl?
Can you describe a dog to me?
In ordinary, we had a prick. Nosebleed Neo. And when it all went crazy, you know what I mean. Nosebleed Neo turned into a dog. Or something like a dog.
What day is it tomorrow?
Fuck off! I don't know! There is no calendar! How can I fucking know?
Dylan, calm down.
Fuck you! Fuck you and fuck Casper! Hey, hey! Are you watching this, you old fuck? Did you send the bitch because you're too scared of me? Where is Casper?
Security, get a team in here. I need...
I'm curious to see what will happen. Especially hearing about all of the testing. I wonder if it's gonna come down to like the brother and her taking over this place. I don't know. Because obviously they mistreated him and a lot of other people. And especially with her, too, because she was supposed to be one of the other subjects as well. So with her escaping, saved her from the trauma of what they put the brother through. Alright, so we went in and met Polaris, like a star. She told us we were special. She made us special. It felt like being born, or reborn, the world fading in for the first time. Familiar, but somehow different. Polaris told us how to turn off the projector. The dung monkeys and the not mother were coming straight at us. Dylan was crying. I turned it off and they were gone. It was over. I took all the slides and burned them. All of them except hand. Unconfirmed existence of paranatural entity designation. Polaris. EID 19,929.
Annual...
So I wonder if we'll hear more of the evaluations they did with Dylan. The second slide we called the meadow, but it was really just an empty lot with a bunch of weeds. There was a shack and a phone line. It smelled like flowers there. It was powerful, intoxicating. We had crazy dreams there. It must have been because of the smell. I didn't like it. Didn't like losing control. In the dreams, everything was melting, and then when we'd come out, everything had melted around the projector. Neil was really into it. We found out he'd been coming there more and more on his own. Then Tom beat the secret out of Neil and found the projector. He and his goons took it. We thought Neil had got lost inside the meadow when Tom changed the slide, but that's not what happened. Unconfirmed existence of additional slide designated meadow. Oops.
Let's see what they have on Ordinary. It's all here. Our home, our school, the woods.
Huh. So this was like where she actually lived. It's kind of interesting that everything kind of started in their hometown. So stage 4. It's actually kind of neat. Tom and the others had gotten worse, scarier. The math teacher, Mrs. Chester, tried to make them listen, and they pushed over a piano on her, broke her legs. Then Tom bashed her head in. Bye-bye, Mrs. Chester. I always liked her. I liked math. That was the tipping point. It was Lord of the Flies level bad. The grown-ups realized something was wrong. The police came and literally dragged Tom and Hugo and the others away. Tom was screaming that the not mother would make them all go away. They enacted a curfew for every kid in Ordinary. Mom and Dad were pissed, asking us about the dump and everything. I remember wanting them gone, like Tom had said. When we woke up the next morning, pretty much all the adults had just vanished. Was I responsible? Did I don't know. Disappearance of majority of Ordinary's population confirmed to result from slide projector related AWE. My other thought is with this Polaris kind of possessing her mind, and it sounds like it's also inside of Dylan's. Like what the ultimate plan or goal is. Even though it is helping her and keeping her alive. Hard dodging.
Somebody found the slide projector in the dump outside town. Did they recreate that too? Is that where they keep it?
Like this, I wonder if the slide, once she finds it, is gonna take her back to like the exact spot where her and Dylan went.
A poem
That'd be interesting.
last time we talked. By Thomas Zane?
Yes. Beyond the shadow you settle for, there's a miracle illuminated.
I looked the poem up. Only I couldn't find any poet by that name. I did find a European filmmaker who moved here in the 60s, named Thomas Zane. What? I don't matter. It suits you very well, the poem. How you see things. Maybe you wrote it yourself? I didn't. No matter. You've said a few times that you feel like there's a piece of you missing. Can we talk about that?
Okay. Yeah, it's this. I feel an emptiness, a yearning for something that I think I lost.
It's natural for you to feel that way. Your brother and your parents are dead.
No! No, Dylan's not dead. And that's not even it.
You're referring to the imaginary friend from your childhood?
Polaris. She's come back. After a long time, she's calling me. In a dream I saw, she showed me things.
Jesse.
It felt more real than anything. As real as what happened in Ordinary.
The industrial accident in your hometown? That you believe Polaris caused?
No, it wasn't an accident. There was no industrial accident, and Polaris didn't cause it. She saved me and Dylan.
Jesse...
No! It was a cover-up. The government knows about it. There were agents there. Agents from... I don't know exactly. They took Dylan. I'll find them. I won't stop looking. Polaris wants me to go to New York. There's a building there. I have to leave soon. I have to be there at a very specific time. Something hugely important is going to happen.
Jesse, you know we can't let you go until you're well. And that begins by understanding what's real and what's imagined.
So I wonder if she was just in the hospital. Alright, so Ordinary AWE 24 details. Details are largely based on interviews conducted with Dylan Faden. See interviews blank and blank for relevant information. And the obtained therapy sessions of Jesse Faden, as well as circumstantial evidence found at the Ordinary site. Note the accounts provided by all three sources contain conflicting data. Example, DF claims there were 8 slides for the projector. JF mentioned 9 slides. The Bureau found one intact slide, designated 36, and the burnt remains of 6 others. Unfortunately, these slides are too badly damaged to be used in the projector. Jesse Faden is believed to be the individual responsible for burning the slides. Notes: Dr. Darling has ordered that the entirety of the Ordinary town dump be brought to the Bureau for examination and analysis, with the hopes of finding additional slides or other altered materials. Due to the limited space of the investigation sector, this AWE will be investigated in the containment sector. So that's what everybody's complaining about. Like, we had to look through all of this junk.
You mentioned
All these boxes of little items. Like, I wonder if that's all from the dump then. So, ordinary dump site. I wonder if the entity in her head will lead her straight to it since they're linked. So maybe it is in the dump. But maybe they haven't exactly found
the
it.
whole landfill here in the middle of New York, and nobody saw a thing. Pretty unbelievable.
Alright, so by order of Dr. Darling, all work in the ordinary dump is to stop effective immediately. Resources will be allocated to the blank department. Details will be forthcoming. This area will be sealed at the end of the month. Please remove all personnel effects before that time. Any photographic slides, the type used in slide projectors, found in the area should be delivered to Dr. Darling immediately. Jerks. These jerks. Oh, come on. This is where the floating comes in handy. To jump over garbage. Oh, come on. Oh, come on. I killed all of you. How dare you respawn? Run. Wait, did he kill my friend already? The one that was on my side? He already defeated them?
We should check that lab.
So does help using cover. Always bad, like being stealthy and being sneaky. Forget stairs. Alright, making sure there's nothing else before committing. Alright.
Effective immediately. I'm setting up a new department. Dimensional research in the research sector. Transferring the slide projector there. That's where my focus will be now. The ordinary site remains as is. We'll be back to... I don't know when.
Darlin took the projector to the research sector. He dedicated a whole area to it, so he knew it was important. Dimensional research. That's where we go next.